Welcome to another exciting episode of the Business of Digital podcast, featuring your hosts, Matt Siltala and Dave Rohr. All right, today's topic, Dave, I'm pretty excited about. What we're going to jump right into is something that I learned that was new from Pubcon Austin this year. And so I guess before we really jump into it, hey, how's it going?
It is going well.
Awesome.
Ish.
So, yeah. We won't get into the ish part.
Plumbing problems in the house are never fun. So yeah.
No, they're not. So I'm really excited about this one because, not too often do I go to a conference and have kind of a aha moment, if you will. And at Pubcon Austin, I actually had one of those moments thanks to our good friend, Daune Forrester, formerly of Microsoft and all that. And I think he's with Yext now.
Yes.
But he was talking about a new concept of, his talk, just to kind of give you an idea, he focused mostly on cryptocurrency and just kind of where that side of things is going. And that was fascinating in and of itself. But he started to talk in that presentation about a specific role that he think is changing and evolving in it. And what it is, Dave, is it's called a digital knowledge manager, a DKM. And it was interesting to hear him share this concept because, as he's been sharing it with other people, he's actually had people call him up, and say, hey, I need to hire just that type of a person. Can you write me a description for that job? Nice. And he's like, sure, okay. And so this is something that's a brand new concept, but as Duane describes it, it is someone that basically helps within your organization, someone that helps understand all things digital. And the thing that I thought was most kind of eye-opening, if you will, Dave, what he said was, this is what he believes the current traditional quote-unquote SEO is evolving to, the SEO role, the search engine optimization type role. And he talked about how over the years, it's kind of flatlined and you can't be really paid more. And it's actually kind of going down a little bit, for years of what you made as an SEO. Whereas, a digital knowledge manager is someone that encompasses more than just the knowledge of an SEO and actually can be paid a whole lot more money. It's kind of like that overall digital master of your company, if you will. So, thoughts on just the concept at this point?
That all makes sense to me because when I was before I went solo, I looked at my career trajectory and what was left for me. I could become an SEO manager, or I could become a director of SEO at the agency, or I could move on to, just that. But once you get siloed, and we kind of talked about silos for careers and for PPC, SEO, and social media with someone recently, Scott.
Oh yeah,
sorry, it is a Monday when we're recording, so that makes sense. And when you're in house, you get thrown into all sorts of stuff. But the larger the company, the more silos there are within even marketing, with IT, with product, with all these different groups, especially the Fortune 50, Fortune 500. There can be 8 different people that have different says.
Well, see, and that's the thing that I thought was so brilliant about this, because he was talking about how, you have all these different teams that you were just, mentioning, having someone that comes in that can be able to help run those teams more efficiently or come up with a plan or something where, or even within those teams, they come to this guy. This guy is the point for them to be like, hey, here's our situation. Here's our problem. Help us figure out a solution for it. Basically, this is a guy that builds systems for everyone, if you will, someone that knows who to connect with who, even within your organization. Because I think a lot of times, even within the organization, the people don't know, sometimes the people that are on the outreach team don't realize how they could work, better with the PPC team or whatever, vice versa. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that the people that get this right have a huge competitive advantage over those that are not doing any of this kind of thing. And it also, if you think about it, how with how search is evolving, a lot of what we talked about is voice search too. And this kind of a person would have to understand how that fits into everything in all the organizations as well. And so basically, and what I'd like us to do, Dave, is maybe kind of jump into each one of these individually. But as Duane explained it in his presentation, a digital knowledge manager, they have 5 main skills. All right. So first is they're a master investigator. Second, they're a master negotiator. Third, they're a master communicator. Fourth, they're a master thinker. And finally, they're a master builder.
I'd say Legos.
And, we're not talking Legos here. So Lego. Yeah. So my thoughts, I'll kind of jump into this with, the master investigator part. Within an organization, I think about, even like ours, and, maybe you could share it from, just your experience with other agencies as well, and with being, I know it's a little bit different when you're, a one-man shop, but as far as like I see with an agency, being an agency owner, a master investigator, he would be someone that came in and just kind of basically investigated all of the different, the digital needs that we have, like all of our systems that we currently have in place, how we can communicate better with each other, the kind of, even just the programs and the offerings and the things that we're doing, you know what I'm saying? And so, to me, this is amazing because, and if you think about it, think about what SEOs already are. I mean, they already do this kind of investigation. I mean, maybe you can kind of jump into this a little bit and into your thoughts on it, but like, with SEOs, they're investigating the competition. They're continuing to investigate backlinks. They're continuing to investigate platforms, new systems, how to do things better, domains, problems, hacks, things like that.
I think to
thoughts on
some
master
extent,
investigator, Dave?
That would make sense because we do spend so much time investigating and trying to understand. When I was in-house, I was the gatekeeper from the marketing team because I had a dev background. So I was the gatekeeper between IT and dev and marketing and the website. So anytime one of the processes would break, I knew more about the process of how the leads came in, how they got scrubbed, what systems they hit, and what could possibly break. The only other people that knew more were the director in the IT side and one main developer. Everyone else only worked on little pieces. But anytime something happened and sales would freak out,
right?
Me being the SEO person, my life was, leads coming in and leads going to the salespeople. So anytime anything broke, it was, Dave, you broke it. Like, no, let's walk through this. This. So I was the investigator by default because I got blamed for everything. And because I own the website from the marketing side of things, that kind of happened. But, I was also the investigator in a way that if someone complained online, I had to go and figure out who it was, investigate internally. What did we screw up? Did they screw up? Are they just, vindictive? Are they just a competitor? We did actually screw up in this case. Okay, well, how can we fix it? Who I need to talk to? And I would kind of go through that. But if you're on an agency side or working with other clients, you're always an investigator. How many audits does an agency or a consultant like me do? All the time. We're always asking questions. We're always prying and trying to dig into, well, why are you spending money over here? If PPC is giving you $5 for every dollar you spend and SEO is only giving you $2, as much as I like to do SEO, we should probably look at more PPC instead. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Great points. Yeah. Moving on to the next one, master negotiator. This is where I'm thinking, okay, well, you have all kinds of new platforms, new technologies, new things always coming into play, and us having to figure out how what to use. But also within the other side of it is within the own company itself, like negotiating the different resources and negotiating who gets what or why we should do this or why we should do that.
Definitely.
What are your thoughts on a master negotiator?
I went to a conference one time and all I did was walk around to a couple people that I knew we were either going to need help from on a project or had recently helped us. And I said, hey, here's a list of all the companies, that are going to probably give away swag. What kind of swag do you want? What size shirts do you want? Do you want stuff for your kids? Do you not have kids? Do you just want t-shirts? And I went and kind of, got stuff for them to basically negotiating. And we once sent pizza to the IT team before because we had screwed up on the marketing side. You bend over backwards to help when you're an agency, other teams to try to build goodwill so that you can negotiate, them actually caring about your project. Like, why do we want to do this? Well, because we can help you with your goals. I was going to say, as an SEO, if you're not in marketing, you need to always negotiate everything with IT. And if you're based in IT, you need to negotiate always with marketing to get them to care and explain how it works. And if you're one of those people that does SEO or PPC or social media where you straddle like PR in multiple groups, or maybe you're off on an island, you have to negotiate with everyone because you don't have your own cheerleader, your own, person ahead of you kind of pushing your agenda.
Well, that's perfect segue into the third bullet point here within this digital knowledge manager, which is a master communicator. You have to be able to understand all the different roles that people are playing. You have to understand, how PPC works, how SEO works, how dev works, how everything, PR outreach. You have to know how to make, just with what you were saying, just, having that, the teams being able to get along and negotiate with each other. You have to have that communication with them, but you also have to be able to communicate effectively, even I'm guessing with clients and people that you are working with, because a lot of times this is my guess, just kind of how I see it. As the digital knowledge manager, you're going to be kind of introducing new tech or new ideas or different ways of thinking to potential customers. And so you have to be able to communicate that in a way that they're going to be able to want to embrace that technology or want, you know what I'm saying?
I think that is also a good fit.
What are your thoughts on
master
communicator in this?
On a daily basis? So you're either, and it's all about knowing your audience for everything, whether you're doing PPC, SEO, sales. You're not going to try to sell some enterprise level thing to a company that, only has one location. And, I had a salesperson, I won't say the company, call me the other day and was giving me this hard sell. And I was like, I don't have clients that are like that. I'm like, you can tell me all these great things about this product. And as soon as I said, but here's the type of clients I work with, I don't have clients like that. And he was like, oh, okay, I can see that. Okay, yeah. But he was actually listening, which is, sometimes rare with these types of calls. But he was like, oh, yeah, then, yeah, it just doesn't make sense for you and for the types of people and the clients you work with. But as a communicator from an SEO standpoint, whether you're talking to a VP or some sort of director, depending on the company, or even the owner, to try to get budget and say, hey, we want to do this content marketing thing and we need $5,000. You have to explain and communicate why and what the goals are and what you're going to do. Internally, if you're trying to get the developers to put, make your site responsive because it's 2018 and this site was last updated in 2012, you're going to have to do a lot of communication.
All right. I love that. And, one of the things that I was thinking about going into this fourth bullet point, which is master thinker, I was just thinking about think about the difference in the job descriptions and the kind of people that you're trying to hire. Okay, you have here's an SEO, and you have a digital knowledge manager. I'm thinking the pool might be a whole lot wider for, they may not know as much specifically about search engine optimization, but if they know more about everything, all things digital, it might actually be a better fit, and it might be an overall, I don't know, I'm just thinking it might attract more than the usual people that, are just applying for an SEO type position. Those are just some of my thoughts. But as far as like master thinker, basically having someone that can think of how all these different teams can work together, how this technology can work with the specific client, how, having just someone that's constantly, and how we get, Dave, like sometimes we can't turn our brains off with the things that we think about at times. And so I think that this kind of a person, as far as the master thinker, just someone that can think just beyond the normal, hey, we need to get this guy ranking and we need to drive leads, or, what's beyond that. And so, like, let's say that we accomplish all the goals and the client's happy, and we, now what? We're at the end of the 12-month contract and they're happy. But like, what's beyond that? What's like, how can we take them even to the next level? And that's where I think this master.
Yeah, I was just thinking through
on that whole point.
The skill set overall, and that, the T-shaped, where a little bit about everything, but you're an expert in one. And I was getting lost in my own little thoughts. But I think just overall, as I think through not just the thinker, but the investigator, this type of person has to know a little bit about everything. And whether you're an expert in PPC or IT or PHP or Python or, social media or whatever it is, it doesn't matter where you're coming from in the marketing, IT, PR, you just have to know digital and you have to understand everything. And so for me, thinker, like I said, I was just getting lost in my own little train, but I was thinking about thinkers. But for me, that I don't think it matters where you're coming from, as long as you understand, like, not just digital, but the business itself and how everything applies to it. Because sometimes I've told, and I think I've said before, I've worked with some people that came to me and they're like, we need SEO help. And after talking through them and basically walking through what they do for digital and where their sales come from, I was like, nah, you should long-term, and we should start doing some stuff. But honestly, you're going to put 50 or 70% of your budget into it for right now. We should do 20, because you just don't have sales coming from there.
Yeah.
Hello?
Gotcha. So as far as I'm thinking about, like, I'll just kind of jump in and I'll talk about what I believe would be the fifth bullet point, if you will, which would be a master builder. And so basically, as far as it goes with a master builder, again, we can joke about the whole master building in Legos, but I think it could kind of apply to this. You're seeing all. You see, beyond the instructions, it just comes to you. It's just natural. And so, I was thinking about this when Duane was talking about this with just with the how he talked a little bit about cryptocurrency, and he talked a little bit about the blockchain, the power behind the cryptocurrency and things like that. And so what I'm thinking of with the thinker and with the builder and whatnot, what's cool about it is with this whole, and again, this is just my thoughts on just listening to Duane talk, but having someone that is not afraid to embrace things like the cryptocurrency, or not afraid to embrace things like voice search, having someone that's ready to embrace all things digital, so there's not such pushback and such problems, with trying to get people on board. And I think that that's what this digital knowledge manager's position is really all about. And so I don't know, maybe, if you've had a chance to give any thought to,
Sure.
what it would mean to be a master builder within this digital knowledge.
I don't know if you have to
role.
embrace, like you were saying, whether it's voice search or crypto, but I think you have to be aware of what it is and how and where it fits, but also when.
Yeah, I agree.
So for certain businesses, voice search and and just blockchain in general, or anything really, might or might not make sense to you. Like, if you're not doing some basic stuff on the digital side, you have to give people the idea. Yes. Yeah. I can see.
But having that
the
person
one thing that I
understands
question and wonder about, and maybe we should have Duane on for a follow-up at some point, is where does this person fit in the company? Like,
that'd be great.
Where do they sit? You know, where does he or she report to marketing? Are they in IT? Are they in, you know, some other group? I'd be curious to see where, and you were there. I don't know if he talked about that, but in general.
Yeah, and I can't remember it off the top of my head. He just was talking so much about this position that my eyes kind of glazed
in a
over.
way, it's kind of like the, the chief information officer, or chief digital officer.
The thought of it,
but I don't think many companies even have, because the CIO and CDO to me kind of, and I don't work in large companies like that anymore daily, but to me, there's a lot of overlap, and some of the stuff I've read shows overlap. But even at a smaller company, when you don't even have, you only have a CEO, CMO, CTO, or whatever their titles are, you know, is there really room for someone like that, and where would they fit? I'd be curious. And how high up the food chain do they sit?
Right.
Which table do they get to sit at the C-level table? Yeah. Or are they, you know, a level down, or are they further down?
Really have
the size of the company.
Well, I think it's a great segue into, yes, let's have Duane on. We'll see if we can get him to talk about this. But I think just having this podcast episode at this point, getting people familiar with the idea, or even getting people turned on to it, I think is important. So thank you for taking the time to go over these with me, Dave. And thank you, everybody else, for listening. We're going to kind of end it there, and we will follow up with you guys on the website, maybe within, pay attention to our Twitter or Facebook feed and see when we're going to have Duane on. But for Dave Rohr at Northside Metrics, I'm Matt Siltel with Avalanche Media, and thanks for checking out this podcast, everyone. Bye.